Success, in America, is supposed to be the reward for hard work. The story told in classrooms, churches, and corporate seminars is simple. If you put in the hours, earn the degrees, gather the skills, and walk the straight road of discipline, the country will open its doors to you. But for Black Americans, this promise has always been stained with an asterisk, because hidden beneath the polished language of meritocracy and equal opportunity lies a quiet, relentless truth. Success costs more when you are Black, not just emotionally, not just socially, but financially, tangibly, measurably, a hidden tax levied on Black excellence itself. The more you rise, the more it extracts. The higher you climb, the heavier it weighs. And unlike ordinary taxes, this one is not collected by the government, but enforced through boardrooms, hiring committees, networking circles, and unspoken rules of access. This is the story of that hidden tax. A story about why Black Americans can never afford the same success as their white peers, even when credentials are identical. A story that reveals a discrimination no one wants to admit still lives, breathes, and thrives in the heart of American opportunity. The myth is seductive. Work hard, stay disciplined, and the doors will open. It's the story of America told to every immigrant, every underprivileged child, and every ambitious dreamer. But for Black Americans, the rules of meritocracy were broken before they even began to play. Slavery didn't just chain bodies. It chained wealth. Generations of unpaid labor created dynasties for plantation owners, while simultaneously leaving entire Black communities with nothing but survival. After slavery, Jim Crow legalized exclusion. Even when Black people carved out success, from Black Wall Street in Tulsa to the thriving Harlem Renaissance, white violence burned it down. And today, the discrimination is quieter but no less devastating, because meritocracy requires one thing above all else. That effort equals reward. But in the workplace, Black professionals quickly learn that the equation is rigged. A Black man with a bachelor's degree earns on average 20% less than a white man with the same degree. A Black woman with a master's degree earns 35% less than a white man with the same education. Even with a PhD, the gap doesn't close. It widens. This is not meritocracy. This is mathematics of exclusion. And it's not just about paychecks. It's about promotions denied, networks withheld, mentorship skipped over, and opportunities whispered to someone else in a room after you've left. In other words, the tax on Black success begins the moment success looks possible. Black parents know the script by heart. Get your education. They can't take that away from you. It's repeated like gospel because education was once the forbidden fruit. Slave masters outlawed reading. Jim Crow schools starved Black students of resources. Even in the 1960s, Black children had to walk through mobs to integrate classrooms. So education became more than a goal. It became a weapon of resistance. But here's the cruel irony. The more educated a Black professional becomes, the sharper the penalty. A study from Georgetown University revealed something chilling. When you compare Black and white workers with the same level of education, the income gap grows larger at higher levels of attainment. In fact, the average Black family whose head of household holds a college degree has less wealth than the average white family whose head of household dropped out of high school. Let that sink in. For years of tuition, student loans that hang like shackles, nights of grinding through textbooks, and still, the return on investment is weaker for Black graduates than for whites who never cross a commencement stage. This isn't an accident. It's structural. The American job market isn't blind. It sees race before it sees a resume. Job applicants with Black-sounding names are 50% less likely to get callbacks, even when their qualifications are identical. Black graduates often need 2 advanced degrees to earn the same salary as a white peer with 1. And even then, their paychecks arrive lighter, their promotions slower, their paths steeper. In America, education doesn't erase racism. Sometimes it magnifies it. Step into corporate America, and you'll hear all the right words. Diversity, equity, inclusion. The walls are covered with posters of smiling Black employees. The annual reports boast about representation numbers. The CEO sends out an email on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. But look deeper. Out of Fortune 500 companies, Less than 1% have a black CEO. Boardrooms are still overwhelmingly white. Executive positions are still overwhelmingly white. And when black professionals do make it into management, they find themselves tokenized, expected to represent every black voice while never being allowed to challenge the status quo too loudly. The unspoken rule is simple. You can be present but not powerful, visible but not vocal. And even within these spaces, pay inequality is brutal. Reports show that black managers often earn less than the white employees they supervise. Black executives are paid less than white peers in the same position. And performance reviews, supposed objective, are more likely to critique black employees for being aggressive, unapproachable, or not a team fit. This is a hidden tax, not just lower pay, but higher scrutiny, not just fewer opportunities, but harsher punishments. Every black professional knows the dance. Work twice as hard. Stay twice as late. Keep your tone soft. Smile more. Don't let your natural confidence be mistaken for arrogance. Don't let your assertiveness be read as hostility. Because one slip is not just a slip. It's confirmation of every stereotype white colleagues secretly hold. And when the annual bonus comes, it is smaller. When the promotion list comes, your name is missing. That's not coincidence. That's taxation. In America, networking is currency. Jobs are often not earned. They're passed through whisper recommendations, alumni connections, and country club conversations. But here lies another silent barrier. Most of those networks were built during centuries when black people were legally excluded. Elite universities, Ivy League fraternities, generational wealth circles, all forge their power by shutting black people out. Even today, when black professionals break through, they often find themselves isolated in rooms where cultural shorthand, old friendships, and unspoken familiarity are worth more than resumes. A white graduate might get a job interview because his father golfs with the hiring manager. A black graduate, no matter how brilliant, might never hear about that opportunity at all. The hidden tax is not just about what black people earn. It's about what they never even get the chance to compete for. Here's the cruelest part. While earning less, black Americans also carry more financial weight. Black graduates are more likely to take on student loan debt and carry it longer. They are less likely to inherit wealth. They are more likely to financially support extended family members because systemic racism has left whole communities under-resourced. So while a white colleague might use their salary to buy a home, invest, and pass well forward, the black colleague uses the same, smaller, salary to repay loans, cover rent, and send money back home. We call this the black tax in community conversations. But in professional terms, it is a hidden cost of systemic inequity. The entire economy leans on black success, while simultaneously making it more expensive to maintain. Beyond the money, beyond the missed promotions, there's another cost: mental health. Imagine walking into work every day knowing you have to be perfect. Imagine biting your tongue during racist jokes, enduring microaggressions disguised as compliments, and constantly wondering if your underpayment is just a market or something deeper. Imagine carrying that weight for decades. Black professionals live with constant hyper-awareness. A study from the American Psychological Association found that black employees report higher workplace stress due to discrimination, with direct effects on blood pressure, anxiety, and burnout. The hidden tax is not just economic. It's emotional labor, health deterioration, and exhaustion from surviving in environments not built for you. Why is this story not told loudly? Why is the hidden tax not headline news? Because America needs a myth of meritocracy. Without it, the entire national identity cracks. If hard work doesn't guarantee success, then the dream is false. And if the dream is false, then centuries of inequality are not the fault of black laziness, but white design. So silence protects the system. Corporations release glossy diversity reports, but never reveal wage gaps. Politicians celebrate first black achievements, but ignore systemic barriers for the rest. Universities market diversity brochures, while black graduates drown in debt. The tax continues because acknowledging it would require restructuring the economy itself. Here are the numbers no one wants to see. Black men with a college degree earn about 18% less than white men with the same degree. Black women with graduate degrees earn about 35% less than white men. A black family with a college-educated head of household has less wealth than a white family with no college education at all. Black professionals are promoted 30% less often than white peers, even with the same performance reviews. Black job applicants with white-sounding names receive 50% more callbacks than those with black-sounding names. These are not isolated incidents. They are patterns, predictable, consistent, reproducible. They are the blueprint of the hidden tax. If America is ever to dismantle this hidden tax, it must stop pretending the system is fair. It must stop celebrating diversity without equity. It must stop silencing black professionals who speak the truth. Solutions exist. Pay transparency laws, federal audits of wage disparities, stronger unions, reparation for historic inequities, leadership pipelines that actually promote, not just recruit, black talent. But the first step is exposure, naming the tax, refusing the silence, because the hidden tax on black success is not invisible. It is everywhere, in every paycheck, every promotion denied, every loan denied, every whisper opportunity that never makes its way to a black desk. The tax is real. The question is, how long will America keep pretending it isn't? The hidden tax is not just a black problem. It's an American problem, because every dollar withheld from black professionals is a dollar stolen from innovation, creativity, and progress. Every barrier upheld against black success keeps the country poorer, weaker, less just. And America owes a bill centuries overdue. Until it's paid fully, honestly, and without excuses, there'll always be two Americas, one where success is rewarded and one where success is taxed. And the lie of meritocracy will remain just that, a lie. The hidden tax on black success is not an abstract theory. It's lived reality. And the deeper you go, the clearer the truth becomes. Black excellence does not cost the same as white excellence. It costs more, and it always has. The evidence is overwhelming. The story is undeniable, the pain deeply lived. We have walked through the hidden corridors where discrimination hides, where polished smiles cover systemic exclusion, and where statistics whisper a truth many refuse to hear. Black success in America is taxed, not by the IRS, but by a society that quietly deducts opportunity, subtracts wealth, and withholds access. It is a tax paid not in paperwork, but in stress, in underpayment, in lost promotions, in denied home loans, and in generational stagnation. But the critical question remains, how do we break this cycle? How do we dismantle the structures that feed on black ambition and profit from black disadvantage? Let's go deeper. The first weapon against this hidden tax is truth. Companies thrive in silence. They know black employees earn less, but they hide behind confidential salaries, market adjustments, and individual negotiations. The solution? Pay transparency. When every employee knows what their peers earn, discrimination loses its hiding place. States like California and New York have already begun implementing pay transparency laws, forcing companies to post salary ranges. But this must go further. We need federal legislation that mandates salary audits across industries, with data broken down by race and gender. Imagine if every Fortune 500 company was required to publicly reveal what black men and women earn compared to their white counterparts. Imagine the pressure, the accountability, the exposure. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Pay transparency is the first step to dismantling wage inequity. America owes a debt, historical, generational, measurable. For centuries, black labor built white wealth while black families were denied land, inheritance, and financial security. The racial wealth gap today is not an accident. It is a direct descendant of slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, and exclusion. Closing the pay gap alone will not fix this. We must also address the historic deficit. Reparations are not just checks in the mail. Reparations can mean student loan forgiveness specifically for black graduates who carry disproportionate debt, down payment grants for black families locked out of homeownership for decades, federal investment in black-owned businesses, schools, and community banks, tax credits for corporations that prove equitable promotion and pay practices. This is not charity. It is restitution. It is repayment for stolen time, stolen land, stolen labor, and stolen opportunities. Without reparations, we are asking Black Americans to run a race still chained to the starting line. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Waiting for white-owned corporations and institutions to change may never be enough. History shows us that when Black people build their own ecosystems, wealth thrives. Think of Black Wall Street in Tulsa before it was destroyed, or the rise of Black-owned banks, schools, and businesses in the early 20th century. The solution is parallel power. Support Black-owned businesses not just with dollars, but with venture capital and scaling opportunities. Build Black-led investment funds that funnel resources into entrepreneurs often denied traditional loans. Strengthen HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, as hubs of talent, innovation, and leadership pipelines. Create community co-ops where collective wealth is built and circulated instead of siphoned out by external corporations. The hidden tax exists inside white control systems. But when Black communities control their own financial destiny, the rules can shift. Here's what many people miss. Careers don't grow only on resumes. They grow on relationships. Networking, mentorship, sponsorship. These are the invisible keys to the executive suite. But here's the gap. White professionals overwhelmingly mentor and sponsor people who look like them. Black professionals are often left without the same guidance, leaving them in the shadows while less qualified peers are lifted. The solution is not just diversity. It's intentional sponsorship. Corporations must commit to pairing Black employees with mentors in positions of power. More importantly, sponsors, leaders who actively advocate for Black professionals in closed-door meetings, must step forward. Access is everything. Opening doors is not a favor. It's a responsibility. It's not enough to hire diversity. If the culture inside the company is hostile, tokenizing, or dismissive, Black professionals are set up to fail. We need bias training that actually changes evaluation criteria, not just box-checking seminars. Accountability systems where managers are graded on equity outcomes. Anti-retaliation protections for employees who speak about discrimination. Safe reporting systems that bypass biased HR practices. Culture change is hard, but without it, every Black hire is simply walking into another trap. None of this matters without laws. Corporations will not self-correct. History proves that. Every major step forward, Civil Rights Act, Equal Pay Act, affirmative action, came from political struggle, not corporate charity. The government must pass federal pay equity laws with teeth, enforce stronger penalties for discriminatory hiring, restore affirmative action pathways dismantled in education and hiring, expand funding for Black homeownership programs and business loans. And here's the truth. This requires voting power. Policies don't pass themselves. If America is serious about dismantling the hidden tax, it must elect leaders who understand systemic racism not as a debate, but as an economic emergency. Lastly, we cannot ignore the mental tax. Every Black professional knows the exhaustion of code switching, the burnout of microaggressions, the quiet rage of being overlooked. We need a cultural shift that normalizes Black mental health support. Companies must include therapy access in their benefits. Communities must destigmatize seeking counseling. Schools must provide early education about racial trauma. Healing is not optional. It is survival. If you ask me directly, I believe the best way to close the gap is a two-pronged strategy. Systemic accountability. Force corporations and governments into transparency, equity laws, reparations, and cultural restructuring. Independent Black power. Simultaneously build strong, Black-owned ecosystems of wealth, education, and investment so that Black success is not entirely dependent on white approval or access. This is not an either/or. It is a both/and. Because history shows us, whenever Black success is solely dependent on white institutions, the rules change to keep us beneath. But whenever Black communities build their own structures, white institutions are forced to take notice. The hidden tax will not disappear overnight. It has been baked into the foundation of America for centuries. But if we expose it, resist it, and refuse to normalize it, we can force cracks in its walls. And from those cracks, light can finally pour in. Family, if you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. This was not an easy topic. It's heavy, it's emotional, and for many of us, it's personal. But conversations like this are necessary because silence keeps the hidden tax alive. Silence protects the system. And we are done being silent. What we talked about today is not just about statistics. It's about lived reality. It's about your paycheck, your children's future, your family's stability. It's about dismantling the lies we've been told and demanding an America that finally lives up to its promise. If you felt this, if you learned something, if this gave you strength or even just language for what you've experienced, then I need you to do two things. Drop a comment below. Share your story. Have you felt the hidden tax in your own career? Has your education not paid you back the way it should? Let's make this space a community of truth-telling. Hit that subscribe button, because this channel is not just about exposing injustice. It's about empowering solutions. Every week, we're diving deep into the untold truths, breaking down the barriers, and building the tools we need to rise. And don't just subscribe, share this video. Send it to a friend, a coworker, a family member. Because the hidden tax thrives in silence, and the more we expose it, the weaker it becomes. To my day one supporters, thank you for standing with me. To the new subscribers, welcome to the family. Together, we're not just making content, we're making change. Until next time, remember this. Your success is not up for negotiation, your worth is not up for debate, and your excellence is not taxable. Stay strong, stay loud, stay unbreakable. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.